Please proceed, Your Worship.
Thank you, Randy. Welcome, everyone. I'll call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. by formally recognizing that we are meeting on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous people from the beginning. We respectfully acknowledge our responsibility to work toward right relations with our Indigenous partners and thank all of the generations of people who have taken care of this place for thousands of years. In particular, we acknowledge the proud heritage of our neighbors from the Alderville First Nation and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. I'll also advise that due to the provincial state of emergency and stay-at-home orders, this meeting will be held using electronic conference technology. Members of council, staff, and delegations are zooming in to the meeting through this electronic technology, and the public is invited to join us by viewing this meeting live on the Municipality of Brighton YouTube channel. With all that, I will ask for a motion that council approve the February 1st, 2021 council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Tadman, seconded by Councillor Rowley. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councillor Ron Anderson.
Yes.
Councillor Mark Bateman. Oh, sorry, he's absent. Councillor Doug LeBlanc.
You're muted, Doug.
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Emily Rowley.
Yes.
Councillor Mary Tadman.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laura Vink. You're muted.
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor Brian Ostrander.
Yes.
That's carried.
Thank you. And I'll ask members of council if you have any declarations of pecuniary interest, and if so, please state the general nature thereof. There are none noted. And I open the floor for announcements, but first I would turn to the Deputy Mayor, who has an announcement with regard to Docks by the Bay recruitment video. Deputy Mayor Vink.
Thank you. We received a sampling of this video a little while ago. It's been put together with the Bay of Quinte Marketing Board, who we partner with for the recruitment or to help with the recruitment with the Docks by the Bay. And it was just, I asked if this could be played at a council meeting so we could all see the video. It's great, and see what's happening. I believe this is going to be going out and being shared as well locally, but also as the Docks by the Bay do their recruitment. It's helpful for them to have something to show potential doctors what it's like here. So yeah, we want to queue up the video for everyone. There's no sound.
I'm Dr. Michelle Cohen, and I'm a family doctor in Brighton, Ontario. Rural medicine anywhere in Canada is a little bit tricky, but the clinic, like the family health team, is great. Really happy with all of the allied health colleagues that we have, and their support systems there have been really great. And then more broadly in the area, we've got some good support. Where we are along the 401 corridor is pretty reasonable. We've got Kingston on one side, we've got Toronto on the other side. You know, you're close enough to access those if you need those tertiary care supports. And then the local colleagues in Belleville are great. So kind of again on both sides, we've got some good secondary and tertiary support and specialist support. So a really just nice collegial atmosphere in the area. For us, one of the priorities in moving outside the city was to find a nice country property. So that's really our priority is the country property. So we've got a beautiful acreage for my kids to have that outdoor experience for them. Having been raised without much access to green space is really huge for us. To give them those opportunities has been really great.
My name is Svetlana Strutz. I'm one of the family doctors here in Brighton. We live in a small, nice community where a doctor is very recognized. Patients are nice. They trust you. They let you create the plan and work with them. They don't doctor shop much around. Probably the nicest patients I ever had were from Brighton. Again, some people, when they think about rural place, they think, oh, I have to do it all. I have to do family medicine, surgery, everything in the scope. I did not find myself that I had to learn new scope of practice of family medicine that I wasn't prepared for. I live in a relatively stress-free environment, like no traffic. In Brighton, Preschool, 5 minutes drive. We enjoy summer, enjoy water, even for 40 minutes sometimes. In other places, you have to, it's a big event if you go on the beach. Here, it's just a thing you do. It's just one of those everyday thing you can do. On the weekend, yes, you can make it bigger, smaller. It's not a big event once in a while. It's a thing you can do every day if you want.
I have a half-time family practice. The other half-time I practice anesthesia, mainly in Trenton for that hospital. There's just so many things that I kind of like about this area. Within 5 minutes, you're into farmland and it's beautiful country for driving around. That's really wonderful. You can drive down to Picton and it's a very, very pleasant drive. In the summer, what you find is that everybody's out in motorcycles or convertibles, and that's what I do. I drive down to Picton and I take my wife shopping, and it's very pleasant. The scenery is very attractive. The most important thing for someone interested in being here is that we've all treated other doctors and other doctors' family members. Recently, I had my own mother in hospital, and she was looked after by, friends and colleagues of mine. And I was so happy with whatever they did and how supportive they were. You never know, you might get sick yourself. Like I've been sick and wound up in hospital, and it was a colleague, friend, a person I knew who looked after me. It's very good.
Thank you for that. Deputy Mayor, do you have any comment before we move on to other announcements?
No, I just think it's a great video showing, the area, and we all talk about doctors. We all get to see what's going on. Sometimes we don't always see these things that are happening. It's great to know what's going on and that there's effort being put forth.
And that video was put together by the Bay of Quinte regional marketing, or it was regional marketing group, which we belong to. There's always some question about what value we're getting out of organizations like that, and this is certainly one of the things they're able to do for us on an ongoing basis. And it's the second video I've seen over the course of the last year. One was the quick tour of downtown Brighton, which I don't think we've been able to use a whole lot yet because we're not able to get downtown, and we're not supposed to be knocking on doors of folks and visiting them for retail purposes. But I'm sure we will get to that at some point. So I'll ask if there are any other announcements this evening. Not seeing any. Move into the adoption of the minutes. And I'll ask for a motion that council adopt the January 18th, 2021 council meeting minutes as presented. Is there a mover? It's moved by Councillor LeBlanc, seconded by Deputy Mayor Vink. Is there any discussion? Please unmute yourselves. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
So Ron Anderson,
Yes.
Councillor Doug LeBlanc,
Yes.
Councillor Emily Rowley,
Yes.
Councillor Mary Tadman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laura Vink. I think you're muted.
You're not muted, but we couldn't hear you.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you. Mayor Brian Ostrander.
Yes.
Thank you. It's carried.
Thank you. We have no statutory public meeting this evening, which takes us into delegations. Council will hear one delegation this evening from Sarah Tanner, Community Services Manager, Community and Social Services Department of Northumberland County, with regard to the County Municipal Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan. Delegation representatives are reminded that they have 10 minutes to provide their information to members of council, and that language, content, and conduct must remain respectful at all times. Council will be provided with an opportunity to ask questions of clarification from the delegation representative based on the information that they have presented. Council is reminded that this is not an opportunity to engage in debate with the delegate nor advance a public policy position. So Sarah, are you there? Not yet. She's still in the waiting room.
I'm not seeing her, Your Worship, in the waiting room anymore.
I've
No.
got her. Yeah, I got her here.
Oh, sorry, you're the host. That's why I'm not seeing her. Please continue. And there's another gentleman, I think that
That's probably Mr. McGee.
Mr. Parker wanted to add it as well. Thank you, Your Worship.
And Linda's iPhone is also in the waiting room. Do we know who that is?
Candace?
There shouldn't be anybody else.
All right. Okay, well, we're going to carry on. If we can, if somebody gets alerted that there's someone named Linda who's looking to come in to provide us with some information or ask a question of council, then we'll certainly take an opportunity to do that. So Sarah, you missed my little blurb about you have 10 minutes and you have to be respectful, but I know you will be, so over to you.
Thank you so much. Is it okay if I share my screen?
You can. Do you have access to that?
I think I do.
You go right ahead then.
Thank you very much. Okay. Let me just... Could I just ask if people can see the screen okay? Okay then. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for allowing me to come and update your council on the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan tonight. I do have some slides that hopefully will give an overview of where we're up to and what we've been doing, and I'll take any questions at the end if that works. So just as a quick reminder about the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan, this came from the update to the Police Services Act, and we are required as a county to develop a plan which shows how we're going to work together, how we're going to collaborate and align to be able to improve the residents' feelings of community safety and their well-being. Most of the plan that we're required to submit to the province is about how we have identified the risk factors that we have in Northumberland, how we're going to use evidence to determine the programs that we want to implement locally, and how we're going to measure if there has been an improvement after the resources and the energy that we put into our plan. Our timeline is to have this to the province by the 1st of July this year. So we do have quite a tight timeline. We have been working this on for a while, as many of you know, and the county is acting to coordinate this plan on behalf of the whole of Northumberland. So on behalf of all the community organisations, all the municipalities and all residents, the county has taken on the coordination role of that. So I just want to give an overview, as I said, of where we're up to and what we've been doing. As I mentioned, we have a real big central theme here about how well we know our community. What is happening locally? What is it that we actually know? We are required under the mandate from the province to demonstrate what we do know, how do we know it, what are we going to do about it, and how will we know whether it's been successful? So in doing that, we recognize that data in a national and regional format is very important, but we also need to know our local data. Some of the partnerships that we already are fortunate to have in Northumberland already collect an enormous amount of data. So our Community Safety and Wellbeing Advisory Committee are looking at all of that data to make sure that we really do know what's going on locally. It's really important, though, that we remember that the data we look at has to be consistent. We have to have reliable data. We may even need an ethical review sometimes. But let me go through some examples of where we're up to. So looking at some of the things we already know without doing a big data search about Northumberland, we know that we have an aging population, slightly higher than average. We know that employment, we have high unemployment. We know that we have a very well-educated county, and we know that income is often low for people. In housing, we know that our vacancy rate is very low indeed. We know that housing resale prices are going up very quickly, and we know that our wait list is very high. So we have some data that we all know about Northumberland. What we decided to do was we identified an immediate need that we needed to listen to our community. So we put together a consultation online. This is just one of the things we did, but I wanted to talk to you about, was how we start to understand how Northumberland residents themselves, how do they feel about the safety and well-being in their community? So we put together a questionnaire online and sent it out. We had a great response, and people were able to list their priorities. They were able to tell us what they thought their needs were and the needs of others across the county, and also able to share their ideas with us. No surprise, I'm sure you'll find no surprise, that homelessness and housing was really high on the list. Mental health, poverty, income, employment, food security, and access to services were the sort of priorities and the sort of examples that our residents told us. So we started to look at other sources of data to see what was going on. We have, as I say, some great partners that collect all sorts of data that we can have access to. And I'm just going to show you some of the examples that help us to start to identify what's needed in Northumberland. We can tell from the data that we've looked at that suspected overdoses have increased steadily. We can see quite a dramatic mark there from about 2015-16 of visits into our emergency department. We can then drill down into that data. We really need the detail. If we want to put something together that's going to support improvement in these areas, we need lots more detail. So here's just an example. We're able to look at very specific age groups. Who are those people that are going to the ED with suspected overdoses? What's the difference between men and women, for example? Other things we could look at is when they go, whether it's nighttime, daytime. We could look at whether there's particular times of the year. So we can really start to drill down so that we can invest our resources where we're going to get the biggest impact. We also look at things like crime and prevention. And this is an example of how we can start to overlay what our community members told us to what other sources of data are telling us. So 63% of the people that responded felt that crime had been going up over about the last 3 years. And we can see that that is true in some areas. We can see that for Coburg, in this example, we can see that crime has actually gone up, reported crime. In other areas, not so much. As I say, this is just an example where we're to show how we're laying down what people have said against other data to ensure that we're on the right track. Again, we drill down. We really need to look at different services too. We recognize that Northumberland has a range of partners across the county. And here is an example where we've looked at 3 different police services and had a look at what they say are their highest responses, that calls that require a response. And we can see here where there's things that are similar and where they're a little bit different. So we're not only just looking at one set of data to corroborate what our community has told us, we're looking across the county and seeing who provides the service and then analysing the data that they're able to give us. And data is such a difficult word. I mean, the numbers that they give us, the examples they give us, the experiences they have, all of that we're looking at so that we get a really good picture. I'm sure most of your members will have heard of the situation table. So the situation table is a case conferencing table where frontline workers from a range of services, including police, social services, Children's Aid Society, and a range of other organizations, mental health, substance use, come together and people are able to present a case where there is an elevated risk, where they have identified that this family, this person, this situation is creating an imminent risk in our community. There's 46 of these tables across Ontario, and you can see from this we have a whole wealth of data from our situation table, but you can see that we're able to lower the risk in over 74% of the instances that we talk in Northumberland. So at those weekly case conferences, when we come together, if there are no cases, we go away again. But if any one of those services, as I say, have a situation where they believe there's an elevated risk, we talk about it and we put an instant response to. And that can literally be people leave that meeting and go and knock on somebody's door and deal with it right there and then. This has, as I say, lowered the overall risk by 74%, which is slightly higher than the province. We also know that our partners at 211 are able to tell us who and what people are looking for when they're calling them. So 211 is the free information service. Anybody can call 211 at any time. You can also look at it online, and they're able to refer people to relevant services and organizations. And through 2020, we're able to see that mental health, income support and financial assistance, housing and other government services were the most requested, the services that required most information to be given out. This matches with our national data, this matches with our local data, and this matches with what the community told us. So I just wanted to talk really quickly about collaboration. And we already have lots of great collaboration in Northumberland, whether it's our homelessness coordinated response team, our emergency response team, our affordable housing committee, our human services justice committee. We have a lot of people all working together, and it's very important that our community safety and wellness plan doesn't start to duplicate. Our role is to find where we can help improve, how we can help collaborate, how we can help coordinate. And it's important just to note who it is that who's doing this work. We have an advisory committee made of very senior people across the county from some of our support services. So education, health, social services, mental health. We have the Ontario Health Team, Children's Aid Society, the not-for-profit sector, all people that are able to share their knowledge and experiences, their expertise to help us put together a plan that can only improve us going forward. Some of the work we've been doing is we've been looking at a data index. So what is it where is the data that we need? Who has the access? How can it be shared? Are there issues of confidentiality? Can it be collected and collated? So we started doing that work. We started looking at an index. It's really important that we're talking about the same things. So for example, do we all mean the same thing by homeless? Is one night If you're homeless for one night, does that mean you're homeless? Or does it have to be 6 months? Different agencies define things in different ways. Is a youth under 18 or is a youth under 24? Different agencies define things differently. And part of our role is trying to find some consistency in those definitions. I wanted to show you where it is that we're going. And that little line at the bottom, February to July, scares me a little as I'm the person that's coordinating this. However, we do have some steps here where we're looking at within February, we will start to determine the details and the definition of our priorities. We will look at recommending our actions and measures and putting that framework together. You'll see that in those steps, we hope that our final draft will be completed in March, April, ready to go to the municipal CAOs, some of the municipalities, and then to our standing committee, and then to full council at Northumberland with submission to the ministry in July. I'm speaking so fast because I know I only had 10 minutes. Our work over the next 4 months is about agreeing those objectives and the rationale. We have to further develop the actions and the measures. We need to complete the plan for any final comments and present to council before we can submit. That's a lot of work over 5 months, but we feel sure with the foundations that we've done and the support from the community that we'll be able to make that. And very, very finally, I just wanted to remind people, I know that you will have seen this previously, but I did want to remind people that in terms of community safety, we do have to demonstrate that the work we do is covering the 4 areas that the ministry require that we do. So incident response is where we lower the calls to 911 and those crisis calls. We have to demonstrate we're proactively reducing risks. That could be anything from new streetlights or a bylaw through the council. We have to demonstrate we're mitigating risk. That could be anything from putting on a safe driving course or swimming lessons. And then our social development is around where we're looking at community education or employment supports, parenting classes, and things like that. Okay, I'm a couple of minutes over. I do apologize, Mayor, but if there are any questions, I would take them now.
Good. I'm just going to stop sharing your screen so I can see everyone. So I will open the floor to questions of clarification. Just before I do that, sir, I wonder if you could send us that presentation through the clerk's office so that we can see it. I'm not sure if anyone else, mine was stuck on one page. I'm not sure if that happened to anybody else. Okay, so if you pass along the presentation, we'll take a boo through it. We heard everything you had to say though, so that's.
I'm sorry about that. On my screen, it moved.
So questions of clarification from members of council. Councillor LeBlanc.
Yes, through you, Chair. On mental health, is this going to be another program that the citizens or the residents of Northumberland County can use? Because as going around the council, you hear of a huge gap that there is in the assistant program and the follow up. Is this like a follow-up program into a system also, and to give them where they can go to the resources for it? Because I know that Northumberland County and the mental health have helped out my wife and I a lot with our son. And basically we got him under a good program now.
Good.
So just to ask you that question.
Well, I'm pleased that you found a program that's working. Our job will be not to duplicate what's already there. So it'll be really important for us to look and see where the gaps are in terms of providing services, whether it's in a particular geographical location, whether it's with a particular age group, whether it's with a particular disability, and then we'll encourage our partners to be able to fill those gaps. We recognize that there's lots of great work already going on, and our job really isn't to duplicate any of that, but it's to help promote it and sustain it. So any way we can build on what's already there is what we'll be doing, Councillor.
Thank you.
Councillor Tadman. You're muted, Mary.
Can you hear me now?
We can. Can't see you though.
Oh, you don't need to see me. Sarah, I was appointed to go on a committee for the transportation for, I am on Quinte access, but also for the one out of Coburg that tied the western end. And I haven't heard anything for about 1.5 years. And I noticed that it's a well-being plan, and part of that helps people if there's transportation so that they can actually get to work. And so I was just wondering, is there any more talk of anything to do with transit in that area, the whole area from Port Hope through to our area here?
You make a really good point, and you're absolutely right. It's vital that we consider transportation for all of our clients and all of our services. Anything we're going to do, we need to consider transportation. So we are currently working with our community transport partners and ensuring that their work is sustainable and looking at what we can do to bring people together to be able to look at how that can be grown even further. Community care are a great partner to work with, and the municipalities as well. And I know that through a staff change and then COVID, they have had some challenges bringing the group that you mentioned back together, but that will be coming back together to assure that that is addressed. Yes, it is central to what we're doing.
And further to that, Mayor, just to build on that, if I may, in Trenton, it's run out of Trenton, but it actually sends clients to Loyalist College, and it's called Elevate Plus. Is there anything in the western end where people can upgrade themselves? Because I understand, at least in the Quinte West area and Belleville down through that area, there's a real lack of workers that have training in industries and manufacturing. Is there something for people who would like to upgrade themselves, get out of, a situation where they have to depend on social services, and can get them to that point where they can get into a job? And that's why I think the transportation end of it is so important, because I see how well it works in Quinte West. People that go there take the course, and then they get hired on as a job, and they take the transit to get to their job.
Again, you're absolutely right. The training and the education, the professional development, the personal development, those opportunities are very important for people. And in social services, we were coordinating most of that through our Ontario Works program with our partners in the community, a range of different agencies. Some of that responsibility has moved on now to Fleming College, who are developing new programs, but there are always other programs that we're looking at and ways that we can encourage people to become involved with that sort of self-development opportunities. So examples even include things like a short program to assist people who perhaps haven't rented a home before. That's called Rent Smart. It's only about 12 hours long. It's a certificate that people can achieve if they've never been a renter before, that tells them all about their rights and responsibilities. It tells them all about how to pay their rent, how to do budgeting, what the landlord's role is, etc. That's a certificate that might assist somebody who perhaps hasn't rented before and isn't able to provide a reference. And then there's all the training with other qualifications, whether that's industry specific, whether it's health and safety, whether it's something specific for before an entry to another course. So yes, it's again very important. I agree with you, you're right. And we have a range of ways to look at that in to enable people to look at life stabilization is probably the language we would use, and how important those opportunities for personal professional development are. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor LeBlanc. You're muted, Doug. There you go.
Apologize. I just want to interfere with anybody. Through you, Chair. When you talk about housing and for rentals in budget of the county last year, there were 69 homes county. 4 of them were going to come to Brighton. Do you know what stage they are, or is this part of your program to follow up on those? Or
I am so sorry, but I actually couldn't hear you, Councillor. It broke up completely. Did anybody else hear? Can anybody hear?
I'm sorry.
You're kind of in and out, Doug. Can you ask your question?
What it is, I'll try again. Okay, yeah, what it is, I'm here in the office, and I'm here at Alice Street. In the budget for Northumberland County, they were gonna put in some homes that throw the municipality, and we're gonna, and we're just wondering what part of the program for us housing.
Your worship, I wonder if we
rentals.
could get Councillor LeBlanc maybe to turn his video off. Perhaps that would help with the audio stream.
Thank you, Randy. Councillor LeBlanc, if you, yeah, there you go. Now try to
Video
ask
off.
your question again.
Would that help?
Or let's try it. Ask your question again.
Thank you. In Northumberland County, in their budget last year, they were going to build around 69 low rental apartments and homes, and 4 of those were going to come to Brighton. And I was wondering if that was part of your program, and if they were already purchased home, would that had already taken place in Brighton? Because I haven't heard about it yet for assistance, or is that part of your program?
Okay, it's thank you. I could hear you that time. I'm sorry I couldn't hear you previous to that. So yes, absolutely. It is still part of the priorities for the county. It's not my program. My colleague, who is the housing manager, is much more aware of the details of that. And I certainly don't want to give you any information that's not correct. But I do know that there is still that is still a priority. Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of council for clarification? And Councillor Tadman, I wonder if I could get you to turn your video back on so that I could see you if you do have a question at some point.
It doesn't seem to work, but I will try again.
Well, I won't mute
I
you.
see you.
I won't. That's great. I won't mute
I
you.
look better as a snowman.
All right, we're going to move on with a motion that council receive the presentation from Sarah Tanner, Community Services Manager, Community and Social Services Department, Northumberland County, to provide an update to council on the county municipal community safety and well-being plan. Is there a mover?
So moved.
Councillor Rowley, seconded by Councillor Tadman. Is there any further discussion? Councillor LeBlanc. Did you have a question, Councillor LeBlanc?
No, not at all. I was just putting my my audio on for the vote.
Very well, thank you. I'll get everyone to unmute yourselves, those of you who
No,
are.
I don't. No, I don't have a question.
Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
That's what I was doing.
Councillor Ron Anderson,
Yes.
Councillor Doug LeBlanc,
Yes.
Councillor Emily Rowley,
Yes.
Councillor Mary Tadman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laura Vink, Mayor Brian Ostrander.
Yes.
It's carried.
Thank you. That takes us to citizens' comments. Sarah, thank you very much for joining us and providing us with the information. And please do send along that presentation to
I have.
Candace, and she'll get it out to members of council. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So that takes us to citizens' comment, and I don't see anyone in the waiting room. There was, just for everyone's information, it was a member of staff who was waiting to come in. They have joined us on YouTube, so if they have any questions or comments, they'll send them to me by email, and I will relay those to council. And if we need that person to pop in, she can zoom in, and this time we will admit her to the meeting. But I don't see anyone waiting for citizens' comment. Madam Clerk, are you aware of any?
No.
Thank you. That takes us to the staff report. The first one is with regard to the tandem plow truck purchase. Mr. Parkinson, are you here? Where are you? Ah, there you are. Couldn't find you there, Preston. We've read your report. Do you have anything to add or highlight?
Not at this time, Your Worship.
Thank you. The motion will read, that council receive the staff report regarding the tandem plow truck purchase, and further that council approve the purchase of a new tandem plow truck in the amount of $306,329.46 plus HST to Rush Truck Centers of Canada Limited. Is there a mover? That's moved by Deputy Mayor Vink, seconded by Councillor Rowley. Is there any discussion? Councillor Rowley.
Thank you, Mayor. Preston, I'd just like to ask what brand are we buying? I guess that's for lack of a better word. What kind of truck are we buying? Are we buying something that's compatible with the other trucks that we have?
Through you, Your Worship. Yes, we have, it's a 2022 International that we're getting, and we have several Internationals in the fleet, and there's also a service provider right out of Belleville that we need.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Anderson.
Quickly, Preston, when would you expect that delivery?
No later than January of 2022, but it all dependent on when we get the PO to them, and then they can place the order for the chassis.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so members of council, unmute yourselves. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councillor Ron Anderson,
Yes.
Councillor Doug LeBlanc,
Yes.
Councillor Emily Rowley,
Yes.
Councillor Mary Tadman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laura Vink, Mayor Brian Ostrander.
Yes.
It's carried.
Can't hear it.
Thank you. The next staff report is with regard to Sunday gun hunting. Mr. McGee, we've read your report. Do you have anything to add or highlight?
Not at this time, Your Worship.
Thank you. So the motion in front of me reads that the public be provided with a 60-day period to review and provide comment on the following policy amendments. That council authorize Sunday gun hunting within the Municipality of Brighton, and further that the Firearms Discharge Bylaw 187/2003 be amended to prohibit the discharge of firearms within 200 meters of lands designated as shoreline residential within the Brighton official plan. Is there a mover?
I will.
Moved by Councillor LeBlanc, seconded by Councillor Rowley. Is there any discussion? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify, so we're giving the public 60 days to take a look at this. Will it come back to council after that? At which
Through
time
Your
we'll-
Worship. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, and at which time we'll vote on it, is that correct?
That's how it has to work. The motion reads that people are to get back to staff, so we're not passing anything tonight. So it's status quo as of moving forward until such time as we make the changes that are suggested here, or perhaps not, if the consultation we get or the feedback we get is that we shouldn't go down this road.
Thank you.
Councillor Tadman.
Thank you, Mayor. The one thing that I should mention, that there hasn't been a lot of Sunday hunting, and it might be because hunters thought that maybe it was still banned. But the one complaint that I've heard from different people is that it isn't the few that are hunting that live in the area, it's those who are coming from other areas. And I don't know how we police something like that, because I'm not necessarily saying that they just come out and break the rules, but like I am saying that they do come. They, I guess they don't worry so much about, because they're not from here. And so it's very hard to police that kind of a thing. And I'm sure that we're not going to have the employees that would be necessary to go out for 200 meters even to find someone if they're within that boundary. And I think the thing for me most of all is the safety for the residents, and it's all around the bay. There's hardly, well, there isn't really any lots that are empty all along Preschool Road from where it's allowed to build, and the same with this area of Gosport. It's just the causeway which you can't build on, and when you first go into the park. So there's a lot of areas that could potentially be a real safety issue, especially because there's a lot of people now using kayaks and canoes, and there's a lot of people on the water, and especially with COVID, I think we've seen a lot more this year. So I just am I am concerned at the safety of the residents, and hopefully we can address that within the next 60 days. I don't know how, if we're going to go ahead with the Sunday hunt, but it's the same every other day of the week, really. It's a safety issue to me.
Thank you, Councillor Tadman. Mr. Castleman, can you speak to the enforcement issue here?
Sure can. Firstly, we need to figure out what we're going to put in place. Are we going to reinstate Sunday hunting? Yes or no? Are we going to extend the no discharge area? Yes or no? Any action that we take on a go-forward basis, we need to ensure that we have an enforcement side of the bylaw. In this particular situation, the enforcement really is threefold. One from M&R, one from the OPP, and one from our local forces. So certainly there's a combination of enforcement for all three. Councillor Tadman raised an excellent point with respect to the issue of safety. We're all concerned about safety, particularly when you're dealing with firearms. Equally important is the issue of nuisance and the issue of noise and having a respite on Sundays. That's important certainly to the Preschool group and to the people within our community. So enforcement is pretty important. 3-point attack on enforcement. Looking forward to the input of the community over the course of the next 60 days. And then we'll be bringing forward a report for council's consideration sometime, I trust, in April or so.
Thank you, Mr. Castleman. Councillor Rowley.
Thank you, Mayor. One question was the same as the Deputy Mayor, so thanks for that clarification. I guess my question is also around the 200-meter safety area. Is that a provincial standard? Is that where you got that from, Alan? Or is this something, I know this, you know, we have enough say as a municipality as well, right? But I'm just wondering if the 200-meter is kind of a standard for the province, or yes, and wondering if there is opportunity to negotiate that, speaking the same as Councillor Tadman, that 200 meters is not that far.
Thank you. Mr. Castleman looks like he wants to field this question.
There's certainly a number of jurisdictional issues associated with this whole matter. And we're trying to be very sensitive to that whole issue on what our ability is and what our jurisdiction is over water, and what we can do and what we cannot do. And as you can see, we've got a couple of legal opinions in that regard. We've done a bunch of benchmarking throughout Ontario for other municipalities. We're also being cognizant of, and we've attached this as one of your schedules, is the Preschool Park Management Plan. And we have to be respectful of that plan. It provides certain opportunities for a number of different activities, including waterfowl hunting. And we have to ensure that we don't go into their jurisdictional area. And if you went beyond the 200 meters, we certainly would be within that area. So that's the rationale for the 200 meters. If we would have gone to 250 or 300 meters, we would have been crossing the line of jurisdiction. So that's the rationale.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor LeBlanc.
This is Mitchell. I'm just going to mute myself. I'm going to take my video off so you can hear me. The thing is, if we're going to pass a bylaw, through chair for a CAO, if we're going to pass a bylaw, we got to make sure that it's enforceable. After I read the two legal opinions, and basically I researched it a bit myself before I looked at all this, that it's a navigational water and where our controls are and what we have. And if somebody decides to challenge the bylaw and beats it, well, our bylaw is not very good. But so far, the local citizens of the municipality have always honored that and have done very well. Like Councillor Todman is the odd outsider that comes that will hunt on a shoreline or stuff that won't abide by the rules that are put on by the provincial and federal government that we can't supersede. And this falls right into it. And most of the people that I've talked to about the hunters and stuff, they only want to do the turkey and deer. Most of the guys don't go duck hunting. This year, there wasn't there very much banging going on, other than the first day. After that, it was relatively quiet. So that's where my point is. If we're not going to pass it, it can also be challenged by other ways to hunt inside the entire bay, because it's a navigational water. And right now, I'm not going to tell the hunters how they can do it legally. But the thing is, it can be done. And our bylaw should have been challenged between 2001 and now after reading that legal opinion. So we should pass something that's enforceable. And with the rest, like Quinte West, Crammy, Trent Hills, everybody else has a really white spot that stays right in the center. I'm just looking for all the citizens to enjoy our rural area. That's what I'm looking at. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor LeBlanc. I don't think you had a question there, so I'm
No. The question is, we should pass a bylaw that's enforceable, that cannot be challenged, that doesn't infringe on the federal and provincial laws.
So still not really a question, not one that staff can answer. That's one that we have to answer as a council, which is what we'll have to do once we get through the 60-day consultation period. Deputy Mayor, did I see your hand up again?
Yes.
My question was just about the 200 meters as well, so it's been answered.
Thank you. Anything further from members of council? Go ahead, Councillor Rowley.
Thank you. Councillor LeBlanc brought up a good point regarding deer and turkey hunting and things. And I know that was kind of the stickler the last time this went around this table several years ago. And it may be just for consideration, but something that I'd like to maybe think about. Are we, is this an all or nothing thing? What I'm saying is all of the municipality or none of the municipality as far as Sunday hunting goes. I know that was the concern the last time. I know if we can put parameters in around the water, I'm wondering if we can still put parameters in around what areas we allow. So that would, I know that was kind of the take the last time, that maybe it could be just north of the 401 in the real rural area in place of maybe just along the water. Is it all or nothing?
Go ahead.
My understanding is that it is all or nothing. Having said that, we choose either to prohibit Sunday hunting or we don't. We still have the no discharge area that have defined a number of different areas within our municipality that there is no discharge of firearms regardless what day of the week it is. And certainly we have the ability to put that in place and enlarge that particular area as we deem fit.
Thank you.
And what mechanism do the good people of Brighton have to provide information on this? How do they go to the clerk's office, or what is the mechanism?
Well, certainly we will turn our mind as early as tomorrow to ensuring that we advertise, whether it's through social media or our website or whatever. I would suggest that any and all comments be sent to the clerk's office. That's the simplest avenue.
Thank you. Councillor Tadman?
In all fairness, Mayor, through you to Mr. Castleman, I think this is worth spending the extra money to put it in our little paper that doesn't have much else. I'm sure there'd be room for it so that everybody's aware, all residents.
Yeah, thank you for that, Councillor Tadman. I would agree. I mean, social media is an incredibly good tool, but it's not a be all and end all, especially for a number of people of a certain demographic in our community. Anyone else? So I'll get members of council to unmute yourselves, and Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councillor Ron Anderson,
Yes.
Councillor Doug LeBlanc,
Yes.
Councillor Emily Rowley,
Yes.
Councilor Mary Tadman?
This is to receive this report, correct?
Is to provide the public with 60-day period to review and provide comment on, and then the two items. Sunday,
Right, okay. Yeah, yes.
Deputy Mayor Laura Vink? Mayor Brian Ostrander?
Yes.
That's carried.
Thank you. That takes us to the council follow-up list. And the motion before me is that council receive the council follow-up list as information. I'll take a mover and a seconder, and then I'll open the floor for discussion and comments. Thank you, Councilor Anderson. And a seconder, Deputy Mayor Vink. Any comments or questions from members of council? Seeing none, please unmute yourselves. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilor Ron Anderson?
Yes.
Councilor Doug LeBlanc?
Yes.
Councilor Emily Rowley?
Yes.
Councilor Mary Tadman?
Before I say yes or no, the follow-up list looks like everything's active, but it doesn't give me much information. Could we at least the next time know where, have dates or something when something's going to be at least completed? Because otherwise, it could be active forever, I guess. And I don't want to, I can't find my list right now. I don't know what I did with it here. There was some things I wanted to ask about, but maybe next time it could be a little more detailed if that's okay with everybody else on council. And yes, to receive it.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Laura Vink? Mayor Brian Ostrander?
Yes.
That's carried.
Thank you. We have no notices of motion or motions. We have nothing under unfinished business. We have no bylaws for consideration this evening. There are no reports or minutes of statutory committees, boards, or external agencies, which takes us to correspondence. And the first piece of correspondence is from Peter Julian, MP, New Westminster, Burnaby, with regard to the Bill C-213, to enact the Canada Pharmacare Act. And the motion reads that council receive or endorse. So if you're the mover, please let me know what you want to do. The resolution from Peter Julian, MP, New Westminster Burnaby, NDP House Leader, NDP spokesperson on finance regarding Bill C-213, which seeks to establish a universal publicly administered pharmacare program based on the same principles as Canada's universal healthcare program. Is there a mover? And are we receiving or endorsing?
Receiving. Oh,
go ahead.
Doug's endorsing. I'm receiving.
So, Councilor Anderson, you're the mover. Are you receiving?
Oh, receiving.
Okay. Is there a seconder? Councilor LeBlanc. Is there any discussion on the correspondence? Please unmute yourselves if you are muted. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilor Ron Anderson?
Yes.
Councilor Doug LeBlanc?
Yes.
Councilor Emily Rowley?
Yes.
Councilor Mary Tadman?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laura Vink? Mayor Brian Ostrander?
Yes.
It's carried.
Thank you. The next piece of correspondence is from the town of Bracebridge with regard to infrastructure funding. And the motion reads that council receive or endorse, so you'll need to let me know which one, the resolution from the town of Bracebridge that the federal and provincial governments provide immediate, broad, and substantial municipal funding opportunities for well-planned, shovel-ready projects already prioritized under municipal assessment management plans to provide immediate stimulus to the local, provincial, and federal economies in order to rebound from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Councillor LeBlanc, you're the mover. Are we receiving or endorsing?
Endorsing.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the correspondence?
No.
Please unmute yourselves if you are. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councillor Ron Anderson,
Yes.
Councillor Doug LeBlanc,
Yes.
Councillor Emily Rowley,
Yes.
Councillor Mary Tadman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laura Vink, Mayor Brian Ostrander,
Yes.
and it's carried.
We have no FYI correspondence. Is there anyone in the waiting room for question period? Oops, I pushed the wrong button. I don't see anybody. Madam Clerk, are you aware of anyone?
No.
Thank you. Which takes us to our in-camera session. So for those members of the public, we will stop streaming on YouTube once we enter into camera, and we will be taking a 10-minute recess once we leave the Zoom meeting as well. So the motion reads, and I just want everyone to know I've changed it from the agenda, because the agenda says CAO compensation review, and it's in fact the municipal compensation review. Has nothing to do with the CAO's compensation. The motion will read that Council resolve itself into closed session February 1st, 2021 at 7:31 p.m. pursuant to the Ontario Municipal Act 2001 as amended, subsection 239(2)D, labor relations or employee negotiations, municipal compensation review. Is there a mover? Councillor Rowley, seconded by Councillor Anderson. Is there any discussion? Please unmute yourselves, and Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councillor Ron Anderson,
Yes.
Councillor Doug LeBlanc,
Yes.
Councillor Emily Rowley,
Yes.
Councillor Mary Tadman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laura Vink, Mayor Brian Ostrander,
Yes.
and it's carried.
Thank you. We will leave this Zoom meeting. We will take a 10-minute recess, and please join the closed session Zoom meeting, which is another link, separate link that was sent to you in the same email at 7:42. See you soon.